5:30 a.m. on November 20th, 1968, there was an explosion at Consolidated Coal Company's Farmington No. 9 coal mine near Mannington, in Marion County, West Virginia. The explosion was large enough to be felt in Fairmont, almost 12 miles away. 99 miners were inside the mine at the time. Over the course of the next few hours, 21 miners were able to escape, but 78 were still trapped. All those who were unable to escape perished. The bodies of 19 of the dead were never recovered. Consolidated Coal Company, now known as Consol Energy, No. 9 mine, also known as the Farmington No. 9 mine, originally opened in the year 1909 as the Jameson No. 9 mine and operated by the Jameson Coke and Coal Company. The mine was sold to Consolidated Coal Company in 1956. The original shafts were 322 feet deep. Even in 1909, it was noted that gases were present in the mine, so lock safety lamps were used at all times to minimize explosions. Originally, compressed air power was used to undercut the coal, which was then blasted loose. Horses and mules, and later compressed air locomotives, were used to haul the coal to the shaft to be lifted to the surface. At 5:30 a.m. on November 20th, 1968, an explosion shook the mine. The blast was so strong that a motel clerk reported feeling vibrations 12 miles away. Miners living in the area heard the noise and, knowing what it meant, headed to the mine, where they discovered a rapidly spreading fire and flames shooting 150 feet into the air. Within hours, 21 miners made it safely to the surface, but 78 were still trapped underground. 4 more explosions rocked the mine up until 10 p.m. The explosion was the third in the history of the Farmington No. 9 mine. On November 13, 1954, a Saturday maintenance crew of 16 men were killed. 4 more lost their lives in a shaft explosion when the Llewellyn portal was under construction, April 30, 1965. While the first company report of the explosion placed the time at 5:40 a.m., many believed it had actually occurred 15 minutes earlier. Several Farmington residents, as well as others residing in Fairmont, Barrackville, and other places several miles from the mine, placed the hour they felt the concussion or heard the rumble of the underground blast at 5:25 a.m. The first evidence of the explosion came when a pillar of flame rose through the 576-foot deep Llewellyn Run shaft, blowing the cage through the roof of the head house and ripping siding off the walls of the portal building. Almost immediately, dense clouds of thick black smoke arose, continuing unabated throughout the day and into the night. Rescue efforts began almost immediately to try and locate any miners who might have survived the blast. The fires continued to burn for over a week, as families of the trapped miners anxiously waited for news of their loved ones' fate. But on November 29th, rescuers finally admitted defeat after air samples from drill holes showed air unable to sustain human life. And on November 30th, after having exhausted every effort to try and reach any possible survivors, the decision was made that the mine would be sealed to starve the fire of oxygen, also sealing the fate of the men still underground. In September of 1969, the mine was unsealed in an attempt to recover the miners' bodies. Progress was slow because workers discovered cave-ins that they had to tunnel around. The recovery effort continued for almost 10 years. By April of 1978, only 59 of the 78 bodies had been recovered. The remains of the other 19 miners remain buried in the mine to this day. The actual cause of the explosion and fire was never determined. However, several contributing factors were found that may have caused the blast, including inadequate ventilation, inadequate control of methane gas and coal dust, and inadequate testing for methane. The Farmington disaster was the catalyst for the passage of major changes in the U.S. mine safety laws. 1 month after the Farmington disaster, the U.S. Department of Interior held a conference on mine safety, and as a result, the United States Congress passed the 1969 Coal Mine Safety and Health Act, which strengthened safety standards, increased federal mine inspections, and gave coal miners specific safety and health rights. "50 years ago, this was an industrial site. It was paved with gravel, covered with lots of old metal buildings, old mining equipment here and there, and a big elevator system to lift the miners up and down out of the vertical shaft mine that was once Farmington number 9. Today, the land has been completely made over, grass and trees, and it has officially been designated as a cemetery because a number of coal miners who died in the Farmington number 9 accident in November of 1968 are still buried beneath these hills. We are going to go and take a look at the memorial to the men who died here, and especially to those whose remains were never recovered. This is what was called the Llewellyn Portal of the Farmington number 9 mine. It was a vertical shaft mine, that is, it went straight down into the ground and it did not tunnel into the side of the mountain like some coal mines. It went down deep into the ground, and then the miners dug out the coal from working outwards from the point of the elevator. It was a network of many tunnels underground. Some of them did emerge from the side of the mountain, but this particular portal was all vertical. And here today we have the memorial for the 78 miners who died in that accident. It's all decorated with what is supposed to be coal. I don't know if it really is or not, or if it's coal with some kind of a coating on it to keep it from deteriorating in the weather, as is this black marble monument. All the names of the men who died here. Those names that have a star beside them are men whose remains were never recovered. Here we have one special stone. It's a military government issued plate in memory of one Emilio Dominic Magna, served in the Navy in World War II. He was one of the miners who died here. There's almost a eerie spookiness to this place. Deafening quiet. It's almost as if you can feel the souls of the men who still lie beneath this mountain. It's been over 50 years now, and they lay in their eternal grave beneath the hills of West Virginia. If one good thing came out of this disaster, it's that it was the impetus for the Coal Mine Health and Safety Act that was passed by Congress a few years later. It set up safety standards, among other things, for coal mines, which since that time has greatly reduced, although not completely eliminated, coal mining deaths in the United States. So here's to the memory of the men who worked here and died here, and especially those who are still here. They kept the lights on. This is the Tactical Panda signing off.